Such a good neighbor. Their yard's all
Okay,
pretty.
I have 5:30 PM. We'll call the meeting to order officially at 5:30 PM. Thank you, council. Thank you, staff. Thank you, visitors, for being present. Would you please perform roll call?
Mayor Rodham?
Here?
Mayor Pro Tem Perry?
Here.
Councilmember Caffey?
Here.
Councilmember Willie?
Here.
Councilmember Oliveris? Here. Councilmember Starnes? Councilmember Flores?
Please stand and join me for the pledge, followed by the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tim?
Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this glorious day. We thank you for our nation and the freedoms that we enjoy, and that we celebrate this upcoming weekend with our 250th birthday. Lord, please continue to watch over and bless the citizens of Rockdale and our nation. Lord, and bless the elected officials here at this meeting, that the discussion and the decisions and the debate that goes on will be pleasing in your eyes. Lord, we ask all of this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Do we have any announcements? Tim?
A big festival, I hear, is coming this weekend at Rockdale
Fair Park.
Fair Park, and everything is coming together, and it should be an amazing event. Mayor Pro Tem Perry, thank you for your contributions, and Councilman Willie for your participation as well. And Councilman Start is going to join me in the dunk tank along with a couple of others. So looking forward to this weekend.
Yep, we certainly invite all our citizens to come out and enjoy the festivities out at Fair Park this upcoming 4th of July weekend. And we always, and as a reminder, we encourage our citizens to celebrate safely. Any other announcements?
What are the hours on that?
It starts at 5. The gates will open at 4:30, but the activities will start at 5, and it'll run till the end of the fireworks. The fireworks will start approximately 9:45, or when it's completely dark, and they'll last about 15 minutes.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone signed up for citizens' communications? No sign-ups for citizens' communications. Moving on to the regular agenda item number 1, consider and take any necessary action on a change order for water distribution. Gerald or Tim?
So on the water distribution system, which includes 55,000 linear feet, 52,000 linear feet of water line,
50 and 55.
is underway. It's supposed to be finished by February of next year. What we've discovered is that we have quite a bit of extra money left over, because that funding that we received for this in the form of the loan from the Texas Water Development Board was deposited in our BOK Bank account almost 5 years ago. So we've gotten quite a bit of interest, and the project Phase 2 came in under bid a little bit. So what we would like to do is to go ahead and do a change order to the existing contract, which is very competitive. In order to do that, that would add approximately how many? 14,000 linear feet, 14,500 additional linear feet. And there are sections that were previously identified when we submitted to Texas Water Development Board for the funding, so we're cleared there. But there is additional engineering that needs to be done prior to considering a change order from Lopez Construction for those improvements.
So in summarization, this will allow us to do an additional 14,500 linear feet of new water line.
Yes, this will authorize us to do the engineering for those 14,000 linear feet, which is approximately, what's the cost for the engineering? 209,000. And then once that's done, we'll be bringing the change order to the construction contract back, which will be, I don't know, do we know approximately how much the construction change order will end up being? Around $2 million of additional work in that change order.
Is that the 2.6? Yeah,
$2,620,000 estimated.
And
That
that's
two
within,
point six includes the engineering or does not include the engineering? And then,
It's on the third page of it, in original task, net change prior to adjustments. No, it does not.
the $2.6 million is for engineering, is that correct? The original construction contract was,
And about 200,000 for engineering.
yeah, so the original construction contract that we're, for phase two is about $9.5 million.
yeah, I think there was, some of this has just gotten in here in the wrong spots, because right now it looks like there's 2 million for engineering.
The amendment amount, the 209,200 is the engineering services.
Is the engineering contract, so that would take the total engineering contract up to 2.6 million.
And is this part of phase two? What phase?
This would add those 14,500 linear feet to phase two.
What streets do we know which ones those are, or whereabouts they're? You're just gonna,
We originally, it's one of the groups that we originally set up for phase two, but didn't think we could meet the budget. And so it's B and K. It's more center, eastern part of town. And, but those were on the original phase two plans to be done, and they were taken off to reduce the cost.
so central east side, you said?
Yes, sir. I don't have, I didn't bring that map with me.
Group B is on the central east, and then Group K is more or less north central.
Okay.
So do we, the engineering for phase three, phase four, none of that engineering has been done? We're doing engineering as we go?
Yes, sir. Phase one was done, only the engineering for phase one to get the approval from Texas Water Development Board, since we didn't do the whole thing. Then we went back to phase two, and we laid out the rest of the city. And then I think you were one of the ones we met with. We pared down the list and left B and K and a couple other, there were 12 total, and I think we did 5 on this one, in that neighborhood. And so now we're adding back the ones that were originally targeted.
And there will be a little bit of money left over when, after we do this for potentially a phase three, to do another probably 5 or 10,000 linear feet of line. We're only doing this because we're limited to how much we can do a change order to the construction contract to 25%. And so this allows us to take advantage of that, because Lopez's bid was extremely competitive, and they've agreed to honor their unit prices in their original bid.
So the unit prices that were in phase two are what they're using, what y'all are calculating this dollar amount off of?
I got a question, and Lopez is the one that's currently doing our project, right?
Yes, sir.
It's regarding the project going on, it might be a little off cue. When can we get those silt fences down? I know I was asked them out a while back, and they said, I think it was the state says they can't have, it has to have grass growing. If I'm wrong, tell me I am, and like, has to, so that way erosion, then, I think you said Mayor Rodham reached out and said, get some new fences up. There's grass growing over these things nowadays. Can they come back and take those down yet? They're pretty much an eyesore.
We'll get on it.
So, I mean, are they not ready to be taken down? Yeah, I mean, there's grass growing over.
They have not yet made the connections to
Is
the,
that what the standpipes are you see sticking up still? They still gotta make
Active.
tie-ins?
so they've run the they've run the laterals, but they haven't tied the laterals into the meters to be able to activate those services. I think all of the extensions to the hydrants have been completed. And we're actually working on getting those activated and get the black bags off of those. But they just started or I guess at the beginning of this month, working on connections. Is that correct?
Well, I would say if there's any silt fence that can come down, let's get it down.
We should be pretty close to especially along Murray, where there are a lot of I think unsightly issues with that. It should be pretty close to getting,
And I have to give them credit when I complained about the damaged silt fencing, they got on it that day and replaced it, so. But I agree with you, Councilman Caffey. If it could come down, if it's time, it's time. It's quite unsightly.
is the project still ahead of schedule? Overall?
Wow, good.
And they have not, have they had any change orders at this point, or just one?
We have basically, we have an
Or
ongoing.
insert of valves.
Okay. So far it is on budget and ahead of schedule.
So do we need to make this motion for the engineering piece or for the engineering piece and
Just for the engineering piece.
just for the engineering piece? For the $209,200.
Do we have any other accounts similar to this that we should be checking?
Yes, there's another one on this agenda for the wastewater treatment plant that we're gonna talk about after we look at this.
That there's money still left for it?
Yes.
Because it's sat there so long.
Okay, fair enough, thank you. Council, I'll entertain action on this item.
So who is actually, who is the change order going to? Or who is this, the engineering change order is going to
KSA.
KSA? I'll make a motion that we approve the change order for additional engineering for areas B and K in section 2 of our water replacement program, in the tune of $209,200 to KSA Engineering.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion? Being no discussion, we'll vote. All in favor said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Regular agenda item number 2, consider and take any necessary action on the change order for the WWTP upgrades, wastewater treatment plant upgrades. Gerald?
Same situation. We have additional money available through interest and a lower bid than we anticipated. We've looked at the options of where we can use this money to the best of our benefit. And the biggest backlog and cost that we can trim down is on our waste sludge removal. Currently, I think we talked about this another meeting, but we dewater in a box, and we have less than 10% solids that go out. So all it has to do is pass a paint filter test. So you put a paint filter in it and pour the sludge in. As long as it doesn't drip out, we can haul it. But there's still a lot of water that we pay to have hauled off. So we've decided to ask for a screw press conveyor, which you feed this in there and it just moves it forward and squeezes the water out. And we increase the solids content by 4 to 5 times. And depending on the unit we get and how we run it, maybe even more than that. But it will reduce our hauling cost and disposal costs for the sludge significantly.
You captured the solids between the filters, correct? In the screw press?
Well, it just moves it forward and continues to press it out, and then it falls out. I don't believe there's a screen in
Okay.
this particular operation.
Gotcha.
You can have a filter press, which would do that,
That's what I'm thinking.
but we're not using a filter.
Okay.
This just basically squeezes the water out, so it makes it a lot drier
Okay,
and less expensive to haul away.
excellent.
How, Gerald, and this is for the 400,000?
Yes, sir.
If we didn't spend this money, how long is it gonna take, how much haul off is it gonna take for us to recuperate this $400,000 versus us applying this $400,000 to the principal loan that we already have? Do you know the answer to that?
Well, again, and just to add, actually, it's a little bit different than that, because again, this is just the engineering for the contract, a change order to the construction contract, which is about $2 million also, $3 million of additional work that we are proposing to do at the wastewater.
400,000 is to engineer the screw press?
That's correct.
It's enclosed, has a building, foundation, the whole 9 yards, so I guess it's, the engineering is more.
It also includes construction administration and construction inspection.
And then I did anticipate that question this weekend, and I never got around to calculating it today when I got to work. But I kind of anticipated that, and then I was sitting here at lunch thinking there was something else I was gonna do in case they ask, and I didn't do it today. I apologize for that.
So, KSA, do we have any, so if we're gonna spend $400,000 on the engineering of this, what is it gonna take to implement it once? What's our guess of what it's gonna cost to construct this building and buy the equipment once it's engineered? Because I hate to engineer something we can't afford to put in anyway.
1.2 million.
Excuse me, no, it was, I can tell you exactly. It was roughly 2 million.
What, with engineering?
2.1
Okay,
million, 2.1
Okay.
With engineering or outside of engineering?
outside, that's construction.
I'm sorry, I was wrong.
So $2.5 million to do this, 400 of it we're gonna spend now. And then to implement what we design, we gotta find $2.1 million somewhere. Do we have
$2.1 million is part of that excess funding that's available from the funding that we got from Texas Water Development Board.
So we already have that.
We have that
We
money?
already have the money
We have $2.5 million.
It's more than that.
over the, yeah, plus a little. And that is from the money that we received from Texas Water Development Board in 2001.
Yes, sir, 2021.
And we got like 23 million,
Well, there was two loans, 16.5 million for the, drinking water state revolving fund and 10.5 for the, wastewater treatment plant.
so there was 10.5 million that we received to the wastewater for this project. That was received back in 2001. We just awarded the project
You said 2001, you meant 21, is that
Yes.
correct?
2021, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's get clarification here.
Thank you, yes, 2021. So we have about 5 years' worth of interest on that $10 million as we were engineering the project and getting it ready for construction. Then we've been under construction for about a year.
So that's not uncommon practice for that money to sit there that long while we're doing engineering, preparation, and construction.
This got hung up in code.
This is the first time I've dealt with this kind of project with Texas Water Development Board.
Yes, sir?
I know that they were extremely slow in responding through that process.
I understand.
So I don't know if it's uncommon or not.
I know you came in kind of right in the middle of this.
So we awarded this project about, 8 months after I got here, and it's been under construction for about a year.
There was a lot of environmental and other things with COVID where people were working from home and also short-staffed at Texas Water Development Board. There were many reasons for but almost all of them were related to the state and what we were requesting.
If I remember correctly, Swartner our congressman had to get involved and push it through.
That's correct, yeah.
That's correct.
In my time, that's what I was told when we first got it.
Tim, I have a question. Are we sure that this is the best utilization of these funds? Is this priority
Well, they're targeted,
sure, but
they're
you could just
targeted
use it-
funds.
for water, right?
No,
It has to be
This
for
one
this
has to-
project?
yes.
This one has to be for the wastewater treatment plant improvements. And the other one was for the water line distribution system that we just did a minute ago. So it's not like we can use these money for a new lift station somewhere or a, or
Of
for a
course, but
park.
water, I'm
It
thinking
has to
like
be
water
wastewater.
based.
This money
Just wastewater.
has to be wastewater
wastewater.
treatment plant improvements.
Okay.
So they don't ask for this back at some point if you haven't completed the project?
We're paying it back, 'cause it's mostly a loan.
Okay.
We're paying it back.
That's why he's saying like.
Yeah.
One of
Gerald,
the
I
things
would-
that Mayor Pro Tem
Yes,
Perry
sir.
mentioned was that if we didn't want to do this project, and we wanted to apply that to our principal and buy it down early, that could be another option. I don't know what that would look like, or whether that's even an option or not.
We're meeting 2 weeks from now, right? Our normal,
Our regular
our
meeting
normal meetings in 2
On the
weeks.
13th.
in 2 weeks, yes.
Is that what you're gonna get at? Yeah.
Can we table this and between now and the 13th, or now and that meeting on the 13th, tell us what it's gonna take to recoup our investment of that 400,000 plus the 2.1 million to, construct the facility? How many loads
What our payback
of
is.
solids do we have to haul off to get that back?
Sure.
Sure, and I'll have to do some, forward-looking thinking
Forecasting,
forecasting, because as we all know, that, there's gonna be major growth at the wastewater treatment plant over the next 5 years, so, that's gonna bring that return on investment down as we go forward, so
I'd like to look at that.
that's not a problem.
I got a question. I hear there's money left from, I guess, for the wastewater treatment plant. Will we get to a point to where, since we have a little cushion, what's left, and we do a change order, will we get to a point to where we don't have anything left, and then we're so far into the project, we have to find a way to fund it without having anything left over? Do you see us getting to
I don't see if what you're asking is, will we be able to spend all the money?
Well, I mean, is it possible when things happen,
Change order at the last minute.
yeah, and all of a sudden, now we're coming today and we have money plan left over, and then,
This particular project on the wastewater treatment plant, its scheduled completion is when? October?
Yes,
Pushing, it's looking more like January than probably.
so from what we have to spend on that.
We've got about 6 more months.
We stand at a good position of not,
Completing the project without having any leftover costs, is what you're saying, Nathan?
right.
Well,
do not anticipate that happening. We have,
Yeah, anything that could come up, yeah.
we have no other, wants or needs. And there's plenty of money to offset where we're at, and I do not anticipate any major, $1 million, $2 million.
Because a $200,000 change order will, at a few times, will add up before we know it.
I have one last question. Are there any other benefits aside from it cutting down on the cost of hauling the disposal of the sludge? Are there other benefits as far as making the water cleaner, things like that? Or is it just the cost of the hauling?
Standard operating, I mean, it's cleaner, what we do now is we pump the sludge into, they're like, 40-yard dumpsters with filters in them, that line it. And we pump a dewatering agent in there, the water falls down, goes back to our headworks, and then we dump the dewatered sludge on the ground. We pick it up with a tractor, a bucket-on tractor, and dump it into the 30-yard containers, or 20-yard containers, excuse me, that BVR brings to us. With this screw compressor, it's set up in a building, it feeds automatically, it goes through the screw press, and it falls straight down into a dumpster that has its own wheels, and you move it back and forth. You never handle it a second time. You don't have the water or sludge ever hitting the ground and leaking. It just goes right out of the screw press and goes right into the dumpster.
So the water that they squeeze
less
out of it goes
manpower,
back
sounds
into the
like,
treatment
less
system again for
manpower.
a second time.
Okay, thank you for explaining that.
I'm not opposed to it at all, but if somebody asks me
No,
what the return
ROI
on
is
my
always
investment
important.
is, I need to be able to answer that.
Yeah.
So it increases the
you.
efficiency of the operations in addition to the cost savings as well.
But yeah, there would be a cost associated with that efficiency too.
Absolutely.
The less manpower too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Action?
Table till the July 3rd.
Is that the form of a motion?
Yes, sir.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to table the agenda item number 2 until the July 13th council meeting. Is there any discussion? Being no discussion, we'll vote. All in favor said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously.
And I will find out, I'll talk to our financial advisor to find out if the option that you had talked about is feasible.
To pay down if we didn't do that.
To pay down the principal and reduce our monthly principal and interest.
Okay. Agenda item number 3, conduct a public hearing and consider taking any necessary action on a resolution supporting the Rockdale Housing Authority's grant application to the General Land Office. It is, Tim, did you want to say anything before I open the public hearing? No? So it is 5:55 PM. I'm officially opening the public hearing. Is there anyone here that wants to speak in regard to the public hearing? Yes. You want to speak during the public hearing phase? Yes. Please take the microphone. State your name, please.
Council members, my name is Mario Casares. I want to welcome the new council member, Mr. Flores. Welcome to the council. I owe the planning and zoning a little explanation for the timing and the board, the council also. We had planned to sell this piece of property. We were obligated under contract to help them change the plan and back to mobile home. So we got this notice of the grant in late May when our property was already under contract. So by serendipity, I'm glad this council voted no. So now we're pursuing this grant very heavily. So today we're here on a grant that we applied for 2 years ago, which we forgot about, to be honest with you, and it came back to us. The state does not want to send this money back to DC, so they're trying to spin it. They're giving us a second chance here. This grant is worth $7 million, will help us build 72 apartments at the San Gabriel project. We're asking this board to, Cura will present the resolution. I believe the council has it already. Amy, could you pass out pictures of what we plan to do? This is what we plan to do, which
This is what we've already passed, though, right?
Looked at.
2 years ago, yes.
Okay.
And then we tried to sell the property, which y'all voted no, which it's serendipity. Thank y'all. I'm gonna have to run for another meeting. If there's any questions from the director.
I just want to make sure we have the correct picture up on the board. I don't think we do.
No, that's the mobile home.
Let's take that down.
That's what y'all voted no on.
Absolutely. I want that, please
Yeah, I
take
was
that
like,
down.
this is not this.
Yeah.
I have one question. So,
Yes,
are you
sir.
saying that y'all have received the grant, or you're reapplying for the grant?
We're reapplying. It's due Monday, July 13th.
So they got notice, they had submitted the application.
Right.
And it was just
Oh,
pending.
I remember all this. Yeah.
Just pending, and it never got denied, it never got approved. And so they just got a notice to say, you know, we went the full application. And
That's correct.
so that's what they're working on.
This is late notice.
Mario?
Yes, sir.
I remember this, but not in detail. I remember that we had some concerns, and I don't know where we left off as to the parking ratio. Do you remember where we left off after that meeting, that was gonna be addressed in the?
Speaking with the architect, I believe we addressed it. It was whatever y'all wanted, we agreed to. Was it 1.5 or 2?
Parking.
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 Yes, I think it was 2 per apartment. I wasn't for sure, but the architect said he could make that work.
I think y'all want a variance or something, or change it to a lower one.
And so, has the architect done any work on it at this point, or we're waiting to see the grant, and then he's gonna incorporate those changes that we asked for?
Well-
When you're granted the,
What happened a year and a half ago, HUD cut off funding, so we actually gave up when we knew we couldn't get that money to start the project.
and was this grant a match of any sort, or, I don't remember, it's been so long ago, were we looking at the city?
They're asking, no, they're asking us if the city, I know those water, those monies are earmarked, but if y'all have any extra, we'll take some water.
It's not a match grant that we have to match.
What they're asking is 10% leverage, so 700,000. We're thinking with the property and the money we have in it already, we can match that 10%.
Okay.
Good. I have one clarification, I guess, question.
Yes, ma'am.
So on here it says affordable homes. I recall a mention of senior homes. Is this the same project, or is this affordable homes not specific for seniors? Maybe Kira would add on that, but.
They haven't gave us definite, but we had started with 55 and over.
Okay.
We started 2 years ago.
Right.
That's not a senior, no.
Well, I'm sorry. I just wanted to clarify, because, I wanted to know what kind of population would be out there.
Okay.
I just recall it being presented as
Yes,
senior
it was
homes.
55 and over.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that was our original.
So this is
You're right,
maybe
maybe you can go into
different?
that with this grant. I don't think they're having any stipulations.
Okay, good. I
And they
might like
rent
that
from
even
you
better
guys, right? They
Yes.
purchase,
than
they
everyone.
rent. Can
And
y'all
our manager
control-
would discuss how many phone calls and people we have coming in. And, well, you already know the great need we have for affordable housing.
And y'all regulate how many people can be in each unit?
Yes, yes, that's on the lease.
So y'all accept the applications, you approve or not approve the applications. And then just like basically you're running the homes now,
Yes.
will be managed in the same manner.
So it's the same. These are not for purchase.
No. No, rental property, apartments,
Apartments for rent,
yes.
How many, if you,
They're duplexes,
they're duplexes.
yes.
Okay, so similar to what you have out
Similar
there.
to Cordova. Yes,
how
ma'am.
many,
newer.
Yes.
if you receive this grant and everything passes and you get to build the homes, and how many new jobs do you think this will create?
I don't know the answer to the question, but 7 million, I'm sure,
I mean,
maybe.
for the
again, may want
facility,
to-
for your homes,
For facility management.
for facility management, maintenance,
We're
management.
looking at maybe 5 more full-time jobs,
Okay.
5 or 6. But during the construction, maybe Tim can answer. I'm sure it's going to be a lot.
And so what y'all are needing from the council is just the support that we support the project?
Yes, and it meets the council's comprehensive plan.
Got you.
Yep.
I just have one. Ben, I was on planning and zoning at that point.
Yes, I remember, yes,
And the other thing, I know there's a parking, but the other one was curbing, correct?
yes,
Okay. And I think everybody agreed that they would work through the curbing issue as well?
yes. Mhm.
Okay,
Okay,
so this is public hearing right now.
This is public hearing right now, yes.
thank you. We had 3 more speakers.
Thank you, Mario.
Great,
Thank y'all, Council.
Thank you.
State your name, please.
My name's Kara Beard, and I am acting as the grant administrator for the Right to Housing Authority's application to the GLO grant. And so just clarifying a couple of things. I mean, I know that in the city comprehensive plan, developing more affordable housing was a big goal for the city. And we really appreciate your support in this as, you know, creating 72 new units of affordable housing will really help. Mario told me that while they have 60 units at Cordova, they are at a 100% capacity, and they actually have 100 applications on file of people who are on the waiting list. So I know that this will really help in that. I know that while there's things that we'll need to work out, you know, with the plan, you know, the additional architectural engineering is going to, you know, we're asking for that to be rolled into the grant funds that they're giving us, as well as the development of the infrastructure, the roads, the water lines, water and sewer lines, the drainage. Tim and Ben said that we would need to do a hydrology study due to the location of falling there between the 2 branches of the Ham Branch Creek. I know there's actually just across that property, there's a 15-foot drop in topography, and from a little bit northeast, close to the M&N Minnow Farm, down to the creek bed, that's actually a 65-foot drop, and flowing from the northeast to the southwest. So, you know, the drainage will be a very important part of this to not only prevent, you know, future potential flooding of the low-income housing, but also the surrounding neighborhoods and such. So we are asking for the GLO to fund all of that as part of the construction cost because we won't be permitted to construct the housing without all of the infrastructure and the drainage being completed. So, but yeah, and so any other concerns regarding the parking and the other issues, we'll be working through planning and zoning and code compliance and requesting any kind of variances that may need to be done. But those will come as part of our, if we get funded, you know, that money to readjust those plans with the architect and engineer will be included in that.
When will the grant recipients be announced?
I don't know exactly. The deadline is July 13th for us to get everything turned in. So, I mean, I would expect by the fall to hear you know, awards. I think they're pushing to try to award things before the end of the fiscal year, so.
Tim or Kira, if y'all were awarded this and then they go through all the studies and suppose that this development overloads the downstream of water runoff, how do we overcome that? At that point, they've already received a grant and started spending money on it, and now the city has a problem of how do we get rid of this additional runoff water?
Actually, that would be part of an engine, there would be as part of their project, they would do the hydrology study, and then as a result of that, their engineers would propose whether that be retention, to allow it to flow its current rate to prevent that from happening. But that would be part of the infrastructure improvements that they would have to make as part of the project.
But what if it happens off-site from them, then it becomes a city problem? How do we
Well, see, when you,
take care of that?
basically, it's like, again, it's an engineered solution. So when you do the hydrology study, it'll calculate what the current flow rate is. With the additional impervious surface, it'll generate additional flow, and they'll have to design to a 100-year flood event, so that water would be contained and controlled and allowed to go off-site at the same rate it does currently, so that it doesn't create that additional flooding that beyond what's currently existing.
So it says that that whatever's on the site, currently leaving the site, will be controlled and not add any additional burden to the existing.
Correct. It has to be allowed, the design would have to accommodate any additional flow so that it leaves the site at the same rate that it currently does. But it would be an engineered solution, and it could elevate the cost of the project. One of the things I've talked with Kerr about is if they can get all the infrastructure built, they may not be, and they plan the 72 units, they may not be able to build all 72 units under the grant. But if they can get the infrastructure built and half of the units built, then they could come back later and build the other half, using revenue from the income from the units that they build.
That's part of the conversation I've been having with the GLO, that we're having the current diagram, as you see, says Phase 1 and Phase 2, and we're looking at breaking Phase 2 into two separate portions, with the northern half being what we're looking at not building immediately if there's not enough funds to build all of Phase 2. But it would be a lot easier for their housing association to either get another grant or to get other type of loan funding to build that northern portion of Phase 2 once we already have all of the infrastructure and water lines in place. That would be used as leverage in order to be able to seek out other funding for that other portion. But
And these are rental units, so it will generate
yeah, it will
revenue.
generate money. Yeah.
It could potentially service debt to build additional.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The grant doesn't say that if you apply for this grant, you say, I'm gonna build 72 units with it, that you gotta build 72 units with it?
It doesn't specify that. It is asking what the plan is, but I'm being careful to specify that with them adding in the infrastructure into the grant, I'm being careful to indicate, that Phase 1 and Phase 2 are the priority. Phase 1 and the southern part of Phase 2 are the priority to be built, with the upper part of Phase 2 as, if there's enough funds to complete that we will. Otherwise, that will be, other funding will be sought for that.
Also, I recall last time this was brought to us, we talked about including the repair or improvement of Hamilton Street, since that's the main street that's going to feed into this. Is that something that you're keeping in mind or able to do still with the revenue? It was Hamilton and St. Gabriel.
That was Republic Ridge.
Oh, I'm sorry, forgive
Okay,
me.
yeah.
Is that something that you think you could do?
with the development, what we're proposing is building the road from the intersection of Hamilton all the way up to the circle at the top where San Gabriel dead ends. Because we'll have to connect into the water and sewer lines there at Hamilton anyway. So yeah, that would be just rebuilding from Hamilton up would be what would be included in this project. We wouldn't be doing all of Hamilton.
And San Gabriel, from Hamilton to the south is what we're going to be talking about at the next council meeting for this year's street reconstruction project.
Council, any other questions for Kira? Yes, ma'am.
And you are in favor of the project, right? Yes. That's important part of the public hearing.
Hello, I'm Pam King. I'm the board chair at the Housing Authority. I've been doing this the last 4 or 5 years. And it is such a need, for housing for low income. I'm agreeing with it too, that we should do this. Like they said, we have a long waiting list. And so a lot of people do come to me and they're like, they're not taking my applications and they're not, but I have to explain to them about the waiting list and how long it is. I also work at the Head Start program there too, so I do have a lot of families and stuff that we do move here and that do need decent housing. A lot of the families do have to live at home with their parents or with grandparents or stuff like that too, because they're not able to find anything here. And we look forward to working with y'all and helping us to get this started. Rockdale really, really, really needs it, and we want to see it.
Thank you.
I've got a question for you.
Uh-huh.
The applications that are coming in, are they coming in local? What % are coming in local versus coming in from somewhere else? And the reason I ask that question is, if we build this, which I like the idea of it, are we becoming overtaxing, overburdening the senior citizens, the ambulance service, the hospital that doesn't exist? Are we bringing new people in? Or are we placing people that are currently here?
People that are currently here. People that are currently here, I would say, which Amy, maybe, the 70 to 80%. Yeah.
But you're somewhere 70, 80%, or you feel like are people that are currently here?
That are currently here.
Giving the ability to have their own?
Yes.
Your waiting list?
Okay.
That
Yes.
high, 80%?
Yes, most of those are the people that are living here already.
I think those are good questions. I would love to see one of those applications. Is there any way you could send it to Tim and he could share it with us?
A blank one.
A blank, yes, of course. A blank application, just to see what the,
You moving?
I knew what you meant.
don't take
I
me,
knew
shoot.
what you meant.
Don't take me, I'll get out there. Yeah, I just would like to see what the qualifications are and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, I think Amy can get that to you.
I just have one question.
Uh-huh.
How do you guys plan for upkeep and maintenance? And, I mean, as things get older, they're gonna need, you wanna keep them to where they look pristine in that community. How do you guys plan for that?
We do, we get our funding from HUD that helps with that, and we've gotten certain monies and grants that they've given us that we have to spend
On
to
upkeep and renovations?
We just had we've got new windows put out there. All the units have new windows. They have ceiling fans. We got new sprinkler systems out there, painting, and so that's what we'll be seeking the grants.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Amy Granados. I'm the manager of Cordova. I feel like I'm repetitive every time I'm up here. However, it is a need for housing. I get calls and people that come in daily, and they say that they can't find anything in or around Rockdale, and they want to be in Rockdale. I have to give them, they ask me, well, do you know about the Bartlett or Cameron? And I say, no, I'm not affiliated with them. You'd have to call them. And they're like, well, I really want to be in Rockdale. And do you know anyone else that is by income? And I say, no, we are the only one that is income, by your income. And they'll ask me, you know, when is your application process going to be open? Or I have to explain to them that I only have 60 units, and I don't know unless there's an unforeseen accident, or someone finds their forever home, or, you know, unless they're evicted or something, that I do not have a unit available for them. And that during the time, we do not have the application process open because it gives people, you know, false hope to ever get in there. And this is where the 100 applications come in. Some of them have been on the waiting list for 2 years. I've been there 5, and they've been on that waiting list that long. So some of them that are on the waiting list probably don't even need to live there anymore. They have to check in occasionally, so we keep a waiting list. So we know who has checked in and who hasn't. But when it comes time, when I do get an open unit, we have to send them a letter that they have to send us all their current information and come in, and then we'll email them. But yeah, we need housing in this area, so we'd like for you guys to take that into consideration.
I have some questions. In regards to the rent that's paid out there, I'm not familiar with it at all.
Sure.
Is that set by the state or is that by the housing authority?
Which part?
The amount that the tenant pays for rent?
So I'm assuming the housing of urban and development, because it's at 30% of your annual income.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
So
not
they bring
something
me
local.
their check stubs, and I have a chart that I have to base it off of. And then I put it in the system in what's called our public, it's PHA. And it's based off of that, and then it kind of calculates, and they get like a deduction. Elderly gets a deduction, a family gets deductions for their children. It's all pre-calculated, and then it kind of gives me a total of what they would need to pay.
Do you have to have a job to live out there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but there's also what's called a minimum if they happen to lose their job, that they have 90 days to pay a minimum. So it gives them a chance to find a job for a temporary 90 days. And then we have to work something out with them, like a payment plan, so.
I believe in helping people out. Everybody needs help sometimes. I just don't want it to be like an added crutch or another
Correct.
way for people
Yeah.
just to not do what they need to do.
Yes, I'm all about helping them too, but yeah.
Is that harsh? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Is that harsh? I'm sorry.
I'm going to court for someone who's not even trying on Tuesday.
Okay.
So, yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Is the intention of what we have now and what you're proposing to build, is it intended to be long-term,
That was my question, yeah.
or is it,
So, in all honesty, it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed.
what is long-term?
It's not supposed to be. What I've learned in some of my trainings, it's supposed to just be temporary to help families, get, 3 to 5 years. But some of them have been there for years. And to try to get them to go buy a house, yes. But they don't know money management at all.
So it's not like a retirement place to go if you,
Yeah.
And that's
For
something
elderly.
that the state doesn't set for you guys or set for the tenants that say, hey, we're gonna give you 3 years and then after that you're out? No, there's no
No,
support there
there
for you
is
guys?
there is a max out of income though. And after they've maxed out at a certain income.
What is it?
I'd have to go back and look at
Okay.
because it's the size of their families.
Oh,
as
so
well.
it's like a sliding,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, so,
and you reevaluate the income every year?
yes, every year they're reevaluated. Yep.
What would you say the proportion is of long-term, this is your home, as people coming through and coming in and out?
Well,
How many stairs do you got? Is that what you're saying? Is that, no,
How many, like, this is it, how many people do you have, this is your home as opposed to
Years?
people that move in, move out, different tenants?
yeah, people that moved in and have no intention of moving out.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I thought you said something about stairs.
I guess I
I
could
did.
No, stayers.
maybe
Stairs.
understand
I
the
got
elderly or fixed income or, you know, handicap. I could maybe understand some of those, but the younger population, you would hope that they would.
I think they get comfortable, and it makes them not want to try harder.
Right, and
know.
that's my only
Yeah.
kind of reservation, but
Yeah.
And that spurs my question of, are we bringing more, inviting more of that into the community to settle because I have somewhere that's cheap to live?
Yes.
So therefore I'll just kind of hang around here.
Yeah. It definitely has its pros and cons there, but we're working on that with our trainings and so forth.
Good.
Yes.
I think that's a good idea to educate them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sure.
Think like, oh, yes, yes.
So is there a set rule about how long you can stay, or it's judgmental?
Not
Okay.
currently,
Not currently, okay.
not currently.
And is there a rule that you can, or, I ask this, can you have a rule saying you have to be local?
yeah, I would love that. Like, hey, you've lived in Rockdale for 3
Probably gonna
years
get
or
into
5 years or
discrimination.
something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there is such a thing as,
I would think you would
Yeah.
jeopardize your Federal Housing Authority funding.
yeah.
Or a certain percentage? I'm like, you don't want to build a block of out of town.
Fair housing is a big thing that we can get in big trouble for.
Yes.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Build it, they'll come.
Council, any other questions pertinent to this hearing?
Yeah. Thank you, it's very educational. I don't know much
Yes,
about it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
Anyone else want to speak during this public hearing? Anyone else want to speak during the public hearing? The public hearing is officially closed at 6:22 PM. Council, I'll entertain action on support of this.
Resolution.
This resolution?
This resolution, yes, thank you.
I just think it's important that we go back and whatever the speed bump we had in last time about the parking, that we make sure that gets done
Right,
this
that.
time. So, that's the kind of hang-up I remember a while back.
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution for the application to the Grant, General Land Office, GLO, in support of the 72 proposed additional affordable housing units to be put in Rockdale.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion?
I do want to make sure that in that motion that absolutely the concerns that we had are addressed on the very front end. I don't want design to happen and then spend more money redesigning. It was very important to council that the parking ratio, so that we didn't end up with a street full of cars.
So I understand, Mayor Pro Tem Perry, that your motion includes that the concerns that council discussed regarding the curbing and the parking are included in your motion and will be addressed in the design and construction.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? All in favor said motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations. Thank you, folks, for
Congratulations, best
coming.
of luck.
Wish you well on your grant approval.
Sorry.
You're not putting your
Agenda item number 4,
hands on us.
conduct a workshop on the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget. Tim?
Thank you, Mayor. And I want to thank all of you that took the time to meet with me to go through this. What you have in front of you is the enterprise and general fund budgets for fiscal year 26-27 as they currently stand. These are draft documents and can be changed. One of the things also that's important for you all to understand is these are, the general fund and the enterprise fund are our two primary funds that we fund the operations of the city. but there's about a dozen additional smaller funds like the airport fund and the debt funds and the court restricted funds, hot funds. Those we're still working on and we'll get to you, but they are a lot smaller and a lot less convoluted than these two particular funds. And these are the ones that really kind of drive the budget. In the general fund, which is the first packet that you have, it is, what we're looking at to support this budget is the no new revenue property tax rate. The no new revenue rate is set so that you generate the same revenue that you generated this year from the same basket of same basket of properties. It does not include new development in the city. Last year's no new revenue rate was 76 cents. What we've had for the last 2 or 3 years has been an 85-cent tax rate. And so I would anticipate that our tax rate will go down, but we won't know exactly how much until we do that calculation. And we still will be able to generate additional revenue, but that would come from new development. And the appraisal districts indicated we have about $8 million in new assessed value. And that, based on that 76-cent no new revenue rate from last year, that would generate about $60,000 additional dollars in ad valorem revenues. I went through all of these, as I told those of you that I met with, line by line by line, and did calculations to project the current year end for all revenues and expenditures. One of the things I did talk to you all about was eliminating that $300,000 transfer from the enterprise fund in this year. And in fact, what we'll end up having to do is to reduce it to $201,000. And that basically gives us a balanced budget at the end of the year. So we are not taking from the general fund reserve, which when we adopted the change order and we added back in the 2 dispatches, we were actually taking away from that reserve, and so we're actually doing better than that. And it allows us to finish the the enterprise fund in the black by $425,000. So we'll be adding $425,000 to the reserves in the enterprise fund with the current budget. But starting there, I went through and forecasting what we are looking at next year. It's basically a status quo budget. What you have before you right now still needs some work because the general fund is now actually in the red by $473,000. There's a couple of line items that I was missing that I went back and filled in. And there was one thing that I talked to Gerald about, potentially adding a grader and a skid steer, the financing cost of that. But that does leave the enterprise fund $195,000 in the black. We're not adding any new positions in the proposed budget. We are going to be maintaining all positions that were previously authorized, including the ones we added this year, which were the 2 dispatch positions. 1 permit code tech was an addition this year. The financial accountant was an addition this year, and the part-time library clerk. But we're not adding back in any of those that we eliminated, including the 2 street employees, the admin assistants for the police, for Public Works, or for myself. And I think those were the 5 cut that we're not adding back in. In the general fund, the changes that are included in this that do add additional cost, add additional expense, is an across-the-board 3% cost of living increase. There are 3 new patrol vehicles in the police department that would be financed over 3 years. A new grader and skid steer for the street department. I think those are financed over 5 years. Additional $50,000 to finance the fire department station expansion. The fire department is looking at about a $500,000 cost for the expansion of their station. They've received about $100,000 in donations and are still seeking additional donations. But when I talked to the chief, I suggested that they might be able to go to a local banks and finance that. And if we contribute $50,000 a year over the next 10 years, that would cover that cost especially if they're able to get some additional donations.
And I noticed today we conversed via email regarding a grant that they may be eligible for.
Yes, and I don't know, I did send, Mr. Brunson had responded last week to that email that I sent to the chief and Chief Metters and to Gerald. And I reached out to Langford to find out whether or not what they're proposing would be eligible under that grant program. So I haven't yet determined whether or not a fire station would be something that that grant would potentially cover. If not, if it does, that would be awesome,
Yes, sir.
you know. But there is the additional new grader and skid steer for the street department that we financed over I'm sorry, I mentioned that already. There is in this budget a new $100,000 expenditure for street rehabilitation. And that $100,000 would be added to our tax note, so that we could continue to do $500,000 a year in street rehabilitation. My plan would be to add that to next year, and then the following year to add $250,000 from general fund and $250,000 from the tax note. And then the following year, you know, we would spend the rest of the tax note money, which would probably be about $100,000, and fund $400,000 out of the general fund. And then from there on, spend $500,000 a year out of the general fund for street rehabilitation. There is an additional $20,000 for city cleanup. We had some money in there. I think it was, it's under development services. On page 8 of 15, you know, we had $40,000 budgeted this year. So that takes us up to 60. We'll probably only spend about $15,000 this year, depending upon whether or not we can get that Building Standards Commission in place, because of the fact that if that's in place, then we end up having to do demolitions. And it's been my experience, when they order a demolition, about 60 to 70% of the time, the property owner go ahead and takes care of that, but 30 to 40% of the time they don't, and the city has to go in and do the demolition, and it's, you know, can be about $8,000 to $10,000 a house, depending upon how big it is. So we'll need money for that. So I did add some additional funding for city cleanup for that effort. I added additional I added $35,000 for drainage improvements to the street department budget that would help us address issues at like Charles Street, or at First Street, if we need to make any more improvements over there. If, you know, after you do what you're planning to do, Mayor Pro Tem Perry over there, if we have to make any more improvements. I added $10,000 to pool expenses in anticipation. I think Premier Recreation, they've been doing a fantastic job, but I think they're actually probably losing money this year. They actually came in under where the YMCA was charging us. I expect that next year they will ask for a sizable increase, and so I put $10,000 into that line item to potentially cover that. They haven't asked yet, but from everything I've heard, they probably will. There's $90,000 of additional money. We had $10,000 remain, that after we cut the budget a little bit, we have $10,000 in pool capital improvements. In this year's budget, I upped that to $100,000 for next year to pay for deck replacement at Veterans Pool. We are in the process of making improvements to the building itself, but it's mostly cosmetic improvements that we're making to the building itself.
Did we discussed it, did we make any locker room improvements at the pool?
So the improvements that are being done this year, and Gerald, you can probably address this, it's mostly cosmetic, but it is to the locker room, the interior, replacing doors, replacing toilets, repainting.
More lighting, wasn't it, too, it was dark.
I don't remember all what's involved in that EBCO proposal.
Things for safety in the toilets and commodes.
Okay.
We're gonna start the painting pretty soon. We're gonna put on epoxy coating on the inside to make it more durable, and the doors have already been purchased, and they should be starting on that.
Okay.
How much have you already spent on that? Is it substantial? or-
Not that much, as far as the renovation, of that, it's under contract, but we haven't actually spent have we spent anything money towards? No, they haven't they haven't started the work yet. They've just ordered materials and we're trying
Correct me
to,
if I'm wrong.
waiting
I
to
thought
get
we
it
had
scheduled.
earmarked 10,000 last year for the pool as
I'm
well.
sorry?
Did we earmark 10,000 last year for pool improvements?
In in the current year's budget you're talking about?
Last year.
Yes, the current year.
Yeah,
you're in.
current
Oh,
year.
current
yeah,
year, I'm
yeah.
here.
Current year.
So we haven't spent that, correct?
We have not yet spent that.
So we
It's
have
been
that still.
obligated, it's under contract.
Okay. That's an expensive deck,
I was gonna say
$90,000 for a deck?
A deck, you mean like the,
The concrete,
Okay, thank you. I don't know enough
That's
about
the
pools.
pool
I'm like, dang.
surface.
the pool,
Concrete all the way around.
Oh, dang.
all the concrete around the
Okay.
the pool.
Yeah, I don't have
I
a
just
pool.
wanted to make sure.
I'm like, I don't have a pool, but
It's not like a
Yes.
diving board or something like that.
I have a question. So with Premier, what do they do exactly?
So they hire and pay for all of the lifeguards and pool management
Okay,
and manage the pool.
okay.
And
And
they
I,
pay,
and I asked because I rented the pool in Cameron Thursday night.
Mhm.
And the process was extremely simple. I went into City Hall and I filled out a form. They have a calendar there. Okay? They hire someone over the summer to manage the pool. And she's a teacher.
Cameron,
hmm And then that person coordinates the lifeguards, the schedules. They run their own snacks. They treat the pool. They clean the pool. And I can't imagine they're making anywhere close to that kind of money there.
why,
She used to do the Rockdale pool too at one time. His wife.
No, this is Faye Ellison.
Oh, they-
Duck.
they changed.
Duck's wife. Mm-hmm.
so they, I mean, I don't know how many lifeguards that they have, eight or 10? And they have to make sure
That's what I
they're
asked.
trained.
Same thing.
They also have, they pay the attendant that basically is at the front,
Mhm.
checking people in and taking money and stuff like that.
Mhm.
They do all of the daily testing. Now, we have a guy that will actually, if the pool chemistry gets out of balance or something like that, we have a licensed employee that goes out there and makes the adjustments,
That we pay him though.
and we pay him to make those adjustments.
One of the things that they offer that is very helpful is they have a number of pools that they take care of, just like the
Sure.
YMCA. And if we need expert help or need somebody to come in and help or supplies and some back to, we have them as a backboard for that.
Travis Fisher, we are paying him off.
I have had, we had a pool in the last city I was in, and it was always like pulling teeth to get lifeguards in place in time to get the pool opened and to keep the lifeguards through the summer. But I know that like the YMCA, when they were under contract with us to do the same thing, I think their contract was what, $80,000 a year?
I would run the pool for a lot less than that for a summer.
$66,000 a
Pay
year.
all the employees too. We're not paying the employees.
Right,
They're paying.
right.
So, I don't know if you ran the numbers on the lifeguards, what the cost, what their profit margin is,
I think they pay them $15 an hour.
but
But I like where you're going with this, and what I mentioned to Tim is that Taylor Dells, she's a pool manager, and she was a pool manager whenever YMCA was running it 2 years in a row. So she's been our pool manager, the same individual, great girl, college student, about to graduate, for 3 years now. So I can see her kind of handling all of it on her own at this point. But of course, she's gonna graduate. I think she just
And I
got
think-
engaged, so she might not be
Miss
eligible.
White used to do it.
And they may I think that of the folks that used to work for the YMCA when they had the contract, several of those people, including the pool manager that they have out there, actually are still there. They're just now working for Premier Recreation.
I think
I mean,
that's what
there's obviously some profit there if they're able to do it.
Everybody said it was Memorial Day, right? So you got June,
I'm just throwing out,
August, 3 months.
I know
how
the
do we
Y-
get away from this? I
the
mean,
YMCA, because there's also liability issues and for the YMCA. I don't know why, but the YMCA decided that that's not in their business plan any longer, so
Right.
they're not providing that this year.
right.
So does Premier take on a certain amount of liability Or is it still on the city if something should happen
The
out there?
city still has to carry liability insurance on the pool itself, but as the provider, there's also additional liability that they're.
When does the
Make
pool
sure.
contract come up for renewal?
We signed this contract in February? February or
It
March.
comes up for renewal then?
It's annual, yeah, it comes up every year.
I think it's better to discuss that point. We can't change it now.
Right, no, I agree.
Good questions, but I don't want us to get bogged down in
Sure,
budget
sure.
over the pool.
Agreed, and maybe something that we can ask Taylor, hey, hypothetically, if this were just an individual position, would you be interested in doing it on your own?
It's a good topic, so.
Yeah,
Does
great.
the youth swim group still use the pool?
I agree with
The
you.
youth swimming group?
I'm ready.
Yes. So Wake
We can get in
Aquatics,
a rabbit hole quick.
Wake Aquatics still is using that.
I'm passionate about the
and they
pool, though,
work
like you.
directly
I'm
with
passionate
the
about the pool.
Premier Recreation
But yeah,
to
we can move
to
on.
schedule and coordinate their use of the pool.
Okay, let's get back on track, Tim.
Thank you. In the enterprise fund, the changes included, again, the 3% cost of living increase. There's a significant reduction in professional fees because this year we had the master plan and the utility rate study that we were paying for that we're not paying for next year. That actually went down a huge number. There's $100,000 in there increase for public works building and office improvements. Those were improvements that we actually cut from this year's budget when we went through that process. They put it back in to finish that work next year. There's new utility truck financed for the department. There's both, and also one of the changes that we made, we're going to be taking out the grant revenue and grant expenses from the enterprise fund and putting them in a separate enterprise fund, excuse me, a separate CIP that will reflect those. It is just, it complicated, made things a little bit unclear in the enterprise fund itself.
I had one question on that.
Uh-huh.
We talked about, the study we were gonna have to have done in the last council meeting.
The what?
The study we were gonna have to have done,
Yes.
where does that fall into? You say reduction in the professional fees from the master plan, but,
At the master plan, that's actually in this year's budget.
okay,
100% was in this year's budget.
and not used.
It's not in this year's, what'll happen is we'll probably only, if that was like 248,000 or something like that, we'll probably only spend maybe $50,000, $60,000 this year.
Okay,
After October 1, we'll do a budget adjustment to move the rest of that money into the next year's budget,
Okay.
encumber it. But you don't have to budget it twice.
okay.
You're just moving it from one budget to the next. One of the things that is not in the budget, we had, with the budget cuts, if you recall, we cut cameras. We left the cameras in at the Public Works, the sites for the treatment plant, water treatment plants that were, from a safety necessary, important for our compliance. But we also talked about new cameras at all the parks and
Yes.
at City Hall. And I can't remember if we left them in the PD or not.
I think we cut those parks, PD, and City Hall, I think we cut those out.
We cut those out. Those have not been added back into this budget.
Okay.
But with this, like I said, with this current budget that we're looking at in the general fund, we are $472,000 in the red. So I've got to do a lot more massaging to try to get that balanced and figure out, if there's additional cuts that need to be made, or additional revenue that can be identified to help bolster that before we move forward. But is there any of the changes that I talked about or any additional changes that you'd like to see made that you need me to work on to try to include from an operational standpoint?
I had, when Mayor Pro Tem Perry and I met with you, I think we discussed, speak for myself, I discussed then what I thought we should be looking into, so I don't have anything to add.
I just have one question. I'm all for, I think the police should have the best vehicles they can get. Is that 3 at one time, or do we stagger that over? Can we replace the worst and come back, or how does that work?
So the way our police fleet replacement, based on the size of the fleet, we should, the rotation would be like 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2.
Okay, so that is rotating.
That is rotating
Okay.
them, so we're not
And that's
replacing.
through enterprise, right? We're doing the enterprise?
That's the lease program.
Right.
That is,
Yeah.
that is. Now,
Got
not
enterprise
necessarily how
lease
we're
that.
gonna continue, but it does consider a leased purchase,
Okay.
whether that's through enterprise or through separate financing. So I've gotten some mixed feedback on whether or not that enterprise is actually really, really good or not. It's easy.
So let me tell you, my experience, Enterprise came on after we use Enterprise some. What Enterprise forced us to do was be disciplined in rotation, in maintenance, and that sort of thing. And Perry and Perry has now adopted that way of operating, which.
How
we
long have you been
learned.
on the system?
10 years probably.
Okay.
10, yeah, 9 to 10 years. The disciplines that we learned from operating with Enterprise, we've now adopted into our own operating procedures, and we're weaning ourselves off of Enterprise. And there's a significant savings.
Mm-hmm.
But it does, so if we can, as a city, if we can get discipline in maintenance and rotating vehicles out and not letting them run until they're worth absolutely nothing, if we can learn those disciplines on ourselves and wean ourselves off of Enterprise, I hope Katie's not listening to me.
Well, a couple of things that they sell in their sales pitch in regard to that is that by doing that regularly and keeping your fleet relatively new and fresh, your maintenance costs go down significantly. Your fuel costs actually go down significantly because you have more efficient vehicles that are newer that
Yeah.
they're gonna run more smoothly. And your return on, when you retire those vehicles, they're not worth nothing. You can actually, through their program, they will assist in the sale of those to get the most money for that.
So we're 2 or 3 officers short now, right?
We are 2 officers vacant. And this budget funds all positions at 100%.
Well, the ones we have now, do they all have their own vehicle?
Yes,
I remember that was an issue a while back about just,
We actually,
Random van.
everybody has their own vehicle, and we actually have one spare. Because some of the vehicles, like the ones that would retire as a result of getting these 3, are like 6, 7 years old. You should actually only rent a police patrol vehicle about 3 to 5 years, depending upon the mileage, about 100,000 miles. And some of these vehicles have twice that.
The dark blue Tahoes are a continuous maintenance problem.
Yes, and they are.
Continuous.
So, and when they're out of service, we do have an extra one that we allow them to drive, and we use that extra also for, if we have a cadet that's going to the academy, we allow that person to drive the vehicle to
who
the
does the
academy.
maintenance on them? Local, or we have to ship them back to Enterprise and let them do them?
So, but yes, this would retire 3 really old vehicles.
Should be done local.
We price locally and locally.
I mean, the last vehicle that we got through Enterprise was actually for Ben, and we got that from the Ford dealership here in town. Through Enterprise. So,
So if you build those disciplines and we can stick to them, we should be weaning ourselves off of Enterprise.
okay.
My opinion.
Any other comments or questions?
So I want to understand, when Mayor and I met with you, we were going to transfer 300,000 from Enterprise to General. we're not doing that at this point, is that correct?
So, in this year's budget, there was 300,000. Based on some recalculations I have done since I met, we're actually transferring 201,000.
Okay.
And that will then allow us to end the year general fund with a balanced budget. But in doing so, we're still transferring, or we're still ending the year with a enterprise fund transfer to fund balance reserve of 428,000.
We're moving 201,000, no, we're moving 100,000. Are we moving anything from enterprise to general? We were gonna move 300,
Yes.
now we're only moving
Yeah,
100?
so we budgeted to move 300.
Okay,
We reduced that by 99,000, so we're moving 201,000.
we're moving 201,000 from
Enterprise
enterprise to
to general.
general. We're still rebuilding the enterprise,
Fund to a tune of about $425,000.
the rainy day fund, the
Yes.
reserves,
The fund balance.
fund balance.
What is the rainy day? Was it 90 days or 120 days?
It's 105 days.
5 days.
And that's established by the city charter,
No, it's not actually by charter, it's by city council policy.
city council policy.
And you can adjust that.
No.
I don't recommend,
don't
I
even
don't
no.
recommend changing that, though.
Don't, no.
Because 105 days, until the city grows to 15,000 and our budget goes, in double, then you might come down a little bit. But for the city the size we are, 105 days is a good number.
Right.
So, Tim, you've got $473,000 you gotta go
Fine.
squeeze somewhere. And so what are you proposing from here? You'll go back and do that and then we'll meet again?
Yes. So we have, Michelle, do you have the calendar that I sent out previously?
27th, isn't it?
I think we have a meeting at another budget workshop on the 27th, and we'll have the certified assessed values by then, and we'll put together all the other miscellaneous budgets by then, and see where we stand.
And we have to adopt by when? August or something.
While you're looking that up, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole on a grader, but Gerald, how often do we use a grader?
The one we have, not very often, because it is a 1980 model, and it's been in really bad shape for a number of years. We would probably put in the money for a newer unit, but talking to my guys this morning,
Well, my throat was getting like,
we could buy with a used unit, that if we could find one under 100,000, and
Oh, okay.
that number. So I think Lynn, Tim put in either 90 or 100,000 for that. So,
Okay.
and
I was thinking $300,000 to $400,000 for
That's what it is for a new.
a new one.
And
Okay.
these are for when we do a street repair, just at that time?
Well, we also use it for drainage, cleaning culverts and things of that nature. It's not a heavy use unit, that's why we didn't go with a used unit in decent shape. But, yeah, we'd use a whole lot more if we had one that was good to use.
Well, I was gonna say that or rent one.
We use a lot, one of the places we use it a lot,
Yeah.
and need to, are the cemeteries. The roads are not paved or of any kind, and the rains wash them out. So that's probably the biggest use for the grader on an ongoing basis.
Probably the idle, yeah.
But there are others.
Thank you.
So we have, our next budget workshop is currently scheduled for Monday, the 25th of July. There is, at our regular meeting in August, our regular meeting in August, there will be a record vote to set a proposed tax rate, which will be the maximum rate that we're allowed to spend. We can always come down from that, but we can't, once we set that proposed rate, you can't go above it. And we will have a public hearing at that meeting on the budget and the tax rate. And then,
That's on the 25th?
July 25th is a Saturday.
Yeah, this is.
No, this is on the first meeting in August. This is on the regular meeting in August. The second budget workshop is on the 27th of July.
Okay.
It's a Monday. Saturday's fine.
And then we'll have, the public hearings on the 10th. Do we have to have, Michelle? Don't we have to have a meeting where we, to set the public hearings? Do we do that at the?
Okay, so you said the 25th is when we receive the certified roll. The 27th is when we have our second budget workshop. The 31st is when we'll be sending out the notification, public hearing, for the budget, and the tax rate. Then on August the 10th, that's when we'll be taking the record vote to set the proposed tax rate. Then we'll also hold public hearings for the budget and tax rate. The adoption and the ratification of the tax rate will happen on the 17th.
And so on August 17th, if everybody's here and you all vote unanimously, we could adopt the budget on the 17th. If somebody's absent or if it's not unanimous, then we have to have a second reading, and that would be on August 24th. Now, statutorily, I think we have until about the middle of September. If something happened and it had to get pushed back, we have an extra couple of weeks, about 3 weeks, that we could utilize if we needed it. But
So, what day did you say we're supposed to have the certified values from the appraisal district?
July 25th.
So,
That is a Saturday.
and that hasn't happened in the past years.
That they got them to us on
That
time?
we got them on time. They've been in shambles there for a little bit. I don't know if it's any better right now or not. But knowing that,
I think Frank is doing a much better job than previous management.
I don't have any idea, but is there, if we don't get them on the 25th, does our meeting happen on the 27th? Or by the 25th, we can't hold that meeting on the 27th until we have that, right?
Typically, I like to be ahead of the game on that. Typically, I've got pretty much all the information I need to calculate a tax rate. So we kind of know where like if we're way off, we can have a meeting. But I've been working very closely with Frank Summer, so I have no fear that he'll be able to give us what we need to get to calculate that tax rate.
Okay.
And we could push that special meeting off until the 3rd, and actually that's gonna give us, because the fact, even if we get them, if he sends it over on that Saturday, we're not gonna have time to do the calculation worksheet unless he sends it to us at the same time.
So for planning purpose of everybody being here, should we go ahead and say, let's count on the 3rd, not the 27th?
Yes, except for, from my standpoint and staff standpoint, to make sure we get everything done.
So
and don't-
move that meeting to the
We're
3rd?
moving it here, but we're not telling y'all.
That's right. I wanna make sure.
Shannon sent out all these dates. Can you send them to us?
The 17th, I won't be here.
Yeah, there's an email that does have it already.
Sorry, what?
He's gonna
The
move it
17th, I won't be here.
August 3rd?
I think so.
July 20th.
August. The August
August.
17th date that you said we all had to be here.
Okay. When are you leaving?
I'll
and when
be
you
out of
coming-
state.
Moved on my calendar.
When are you leaving and when are you coming back?
I'm leaving the 13th and I come back the 18th.
Leaving the 13th and coming back when?
The 18th,
Of August?
18th?
August, the date that he was like, we all have to be here, yeah.
So Esme said she's not gonna be here back until the 18th, so that's a special meeting. I tried to keep them on Mondays, but if you wanna wait and do it after she gets back, we'd be looking at, maybe the 20th, the Thursday
August?
of August.
I won't be here, but
When do you, you're saying we all have to, all 6 of us have to be here, or all 7 of us?
Well,
I would say all
you can do
7
it
of
in
you don't.
one if you're all here.
If you're all here, then, and it's approved, then it's done. Otherwise, we'll need a second meeting. So if you missed on the 17th, then we would have to have another meeting, which we would have we're planning to have on the 24th. Mayor, when are you gonna be gone?
I will be gone from the 15th to the 22nd.
So you won't be here
15th to
either
the
the
22nd?
Yes, sir.
So
Y'all two miss on the 17th,
it
and
may, looks like we'll do the final adoption on the 24th then. I mean, I'd rather still have the meeting on the 17th, just in case not everybody's here, somebody gets sick and isn't here on the 24th.
yeah. I think it's smart to plan on somebody not being here at that time of year. Let's hold two meetings, one on the 17th and one on the 24th.
On the 24th.
Sorry, I already had those dates planned.
So, and I'll be getting with you all ahead of time.
Basically, what it gives us permission to miss on the 24th, because they already missed theirs.
Okay.
And,
Council?
and again, this schedule does give us a 2 or 3 weeks of cushion so that if something does happen and we have to schedule another meeting, we have time to do that.
Okay. The 17th and the 24th of August. And then can you remind me about your July dates? What dates did you say?
July, right now, we're proposing a second budget workshop for the 27th, but
August 3rd.
That's all gonna be August.
Well, that's August
The fact
3rd.
is, I think that there was some discussion about maybe moving that back to the 3rd.
Okay.
We'll still plan, staff will still plan on getting stuff out to council ahead of time so that, in time for the 27th, but it may not be until August 3rd.
Okay, we good?
Okay, yep.
Tim,
Yes.
council, any other,
Any other direction for me regarding the general fund or enterprise fund?
any other business to attend to tonight?
No, sir.
We're officially adjourned at 7:02.